Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Commonsense Africa Podcast. I'm your host, Nwaokoro. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about de-legitimization of American democracy. Oftentimes, we hear American leaders, especially American presidents, talk about de-legitimization of American democracy and fighting against those individuals that are trying to destroy American democracy or democracy around the world. So, you hear this from time to time. The rhetoric sounds good and looks good, but then you look at the happenings in America and you wonder, are those delegitimizing American democracy outside forces, or they are more like forces within America? Are those forces, really doing more from within America or from outside America to destroy American democracy? So I'm going to look at all those instances whereby Americans are their own worst enemies when it comes to delegitimizing American democracy. And when you look at things like over partisanship, in the U.S. Congress, you see that the Republicans have refused to see anything good in all the bills or the laws that the Democrats want to enact. At present, they are trying to, the Democrats are trying to confirm an impeccable jurist, a jurist that is even more qualified than most of the Supreme Court justices that are sitting there now, in the person of Ketanji Jackson. But the Republicans do not see anything good in this woman, this exemplary woman, this exceptional jurist, somebody that has gotten, federal confirmation for three times in the Senate before, but all of a sudden, because she's going to the Supreme Court, they do not see anything good in her. So we're going to look at, first and foremost, how Americans elect their president. You look at the Electoral college system, whereby somebody, in the case of Donald Trump, who lost to Hillary Clinton by almost 3 million votes, but yet Donald Trump was declared the president, and of course he became the president of the United States. So you ask yourself this question: is it democratic to disenfranchise almost 3 million legitimate American voters just to uphold an outdated and antiquated electoral college system? A system that should have been readjusted or amended, just like Americans every 10 years, they, adjust the congressional districts. So why don't you do it with the Electoral college system? Why don't we adjust it every 10 years to reflect the population of the states? But nobody's doing that. So when they had first instituted the Electoral college vote, it was hard for somebody to win the popular vote and not win the Electoral college vote. It was hard, because then those people playing the politics were just all white males, landowners for that matter. So chances are that every time they will agree, every time when they tally the votes, whoever wins the popular vote had the chances of winning the Electoral college votes. So that is one problem. The first thing that delegitimizes American democracy, the Electoral college, must be revisited and readjusted. Just like the congressional districts are adjusted every 10 years based on the census. So the other thing is when America elected a fine president in the person of Barack Obama, the first African-American president of this country, we think that we thought then that America has arrived, that America will not capitalize on that to build on, because that was the first time that multiracial participation in American election occurred. So, but what happened? Instead of capitalizing on that, mainly Republicans, white Americans, white males thought, America was The white man was about to lose his grip on power, and they ended up bringing somebody, a complete opposite to Barack Obama, an extremist. As a matter of fact, of the 18 people that contested, he was at the extreme. He was racist. He had racist intonations here and there, but yet America elected him. Now he served. So when people or the minorities or multiracial community realized what this man was all about and the Republicans were all about, so America voted en masse in 2020 and elected a fine man and a fine woman as the president and vice president of this great country, in the person of President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as the vice president. So now, instead of accepting defeat, what did Trump and the Republican Party do? They mounted an insurrection. They mounted a coup to overthrow a legitimate President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. So, as if they did everything, including trying to stop the Congress from counting or doing their congressional constitutional duty of counting and tallying the Electoral College votes. People died. It wasn't foreign forces that did that. It wasn't foreign forces that made laws like in Georgia, whereby if you're passing water to voters that are in line for hours trying to vote, it wasn't foreign forces that made it a law to punish those people, to criminalize them. These are people that should be commended for doing patriotic work, handing out water and snacks to voters. But no, they want to put them in jail. They gerrymander, make it hard for people to vote. At times in some Republican-controlled states, they site polling stations far, far away, 20 miles away, just to make it hard for people to go to vote. They make unnecessary laws for people to provide unnecessary identification before they can vote. It wasn't foreign forces that did that. Even now that America is supporting Ukraine in the unjust war that Russia is mounting on Ukraine, what is the former President Trump doing? He is siding with Putin. Siding with Putin. Calling him all kinds of, giving him accolades, and the good thing, instead of siding with President Biden. So these are all these things that Americans are doing, are delegitimizing, American democracy. Not letting people vote. I mean, America after 2020 vote, America should be happy that a lot of people are now participating. But no, the white man thinks that, they are losing power. So they want to go back to the Jim Crow era, make it hard for people to vote. They redraw the map, they gerrymander carelessly, ruthlessly. It wasn't foreign forces that took arms and went to the governor's office in Michigan, trying to kidnap the governor of Michigan, all because she stood to protect democracy. It wasn't foreign forces. They were Americans. It wasn't foreign forces that are making it hard for people to learn about American history. But no, they want to pull out the books that promote, what America is all about. Freedom of speech, understand. So they want to sweep all these things under the rug. They want to hide the truth. So I think, folks, that Americans are their own worst enemies when it comes to delegitimizing American democracy. America should look in-house because they are the ones doing injustice to American democracy. Americans are the ones that are not leading by example. So now the question you ask is this. for the first time that America has experienced multiracial participation in American democracy. America is wobbling. America is shaking. They've realized that democracy is not for everybody. Because in those days, it used to be a game by white males, white landowners. So everything was cool. It looked like democracy was the coolest thing in town. Now they were selling it, trying to sell it to all parts of the world. But now, America has experienced what it means to operate a democracy in a complex society, in a multiracial society. Just like in Africa. Over the years, America has been trying to sell democracy to Africa. Africa, with all its complex societies, they try to sell democracy. Now you see why democracy won't work in Africa until Africans restructure, until Africans build new nations within all these countries that were forced on them. America is experiencing that now. So America now has to talk to each other. All the racial compositions of America must talk to each other so that the new America will be drawn. So now what am I saying? I'm saying that America should not see why democracy hasn't worked in Africa. Because African countries are made up of nations within a country, nations that did not in any way participate in the decision making to form them as a country. So that's why they are not agreeing. It's a complex society. Democracy will only work when those countries talk to themselves. The nations within those countries talk to themselves, decide that they want to form a nation within their country because they can't function the way the colonialists left them. That's what America is experiencing now, the complexity of Africa. So you have to, now that you've seen that, hey, in a complex society, democracy has issues because somebody is struggling to be the supreme. So you have to understand that you cannot be a supreme in a democracy. Everybody is equal. Everybody has to participate equally. Nobody should be sidelined in a democracy. So African democracies have not, progressed because of that. So in order for democracy to work in Africa, African countries must restructure, must redefine themselves, must understand that yes, though they are nations within a country that is supposed to be a nation, but they don't understand each other. They haven't spoken to each other. They haven't discussed. They haven't decided the terms of engagement. So in order for democracy to work in Africa, all those countries and the nations within them must talk to each other, must decide that they are now ready to form a new nation, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes to be a new nation. So they must talk to each other and decide, hey, we are now one nation. Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya, Liberia. We must act as one nation. We must act as one people, not different tribes. Because if you operate in different tribes, as different tribes, it's going to create a problem, the same problem that America is experiencing now. So over the years that people thought American democracy was the in thing, it was just because they had the supreme white man was in charge. So now that white power is somehow being chipping away, or things are, other people are participating. They've experienced, America is now experiencing what Africans have been experiencing. So Africa, now that you've seen from the beacon of democracy, America, as a claim, that it is also, they're having difficulties participating in a multicultural society. You African countries, please, you need to just talk to yourselves, decide that you have to become a new nation under your country. Don't let the ethnic divides continue to cause problems. Decide on your common interests. Decide on, hey, this is what binds us together. This is why we should be one Nigeria. This is why we should be one Ghana. And then you work on it. Don't wait until America fixes their problem before you fix yours. You already know what the problem is. So here at Commonsense Africa Podcast, we are going to continue to tell you this, to point out these things. It's not like you don't already know these things that we're talking about, but we are going to be forcing so that you implement them. Do not wait for America to solve their problem before you solve yours. Because America is going to drag this, the white man, the Republicans, and they're going to drag it and drag it. Africa, just jump and get to the solution. Rwanda has taken a lead, and I think other Africans should emulate what Rwanda has done, so that you don't wait for America to fix our problems before you can fix yours. You can go ahead and fix our problem. We already know what it is. We should try to be original. We should stop copying. So Africans, I beg you in the name of God, we know what the problems are. We can fix it. America is battling with a lot of things. Racism, one of them. As a matter of fact, racism is the reason why America is where it is today. Everything is on a standstill. America is stagnated. America would have been a lot better if they would leave racism alone. There's no reason why George Ketanji Jackson should be going through a very tough and unnecessary confirmation filled with partisan politics. Meanwhile, she's been confirmed 3 times before the same Senate. Nothing has changed. If anything, she has proven that she's worthy. She has proven that she can do the job. So in order for America to progress, America must stay far away from racism. Racism is the reason why this country is struggling. Racism is the reason why America cannot find the best amongst the best, because they look at a certain ethnic group as the only place where they can find the best. All that should change. And Africa, please, as you can see, with America struggling with their democracy, you can actually be the model, build the model that America will look up to. I give kudos to Rwanda. Rwanda is doing a great job, and I think other African countries should emulate what Rwanda is doing. On that note, I thank you very much for listening. May God help us all, and may we find it amongst or within ourselves to do the right thing, both here in America and, of course, in the continent of Africa. If you listen to me, please share. Please follow us. Please let everybody hear. Thank you very much, and God bless.